This is Empire Sports Alliance, Unfiltered. No fluff, no filters, just the real side of sports. We're talking athletes, coaches, agents, doctors, executives, the people behind the scenes who actually move the needle. From building careers to surviving the grind to winning off the field. This is where real conversations collide.
Guest is Isaiah Woods Sr., receiver with the Cleveland Browns. Welcome, Isaiah.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Well,
for
good. I mean,
joining us.
yeah, thank you. Eric, we had a couple of folks on before in terms of position players, etc. But we never had a receiver on. I mean, Dimitri played a little bit of receiver, but it was really a running back. So you're the first receiver. But normally, what I would like to do is kind of like start with just like your journey in terms of how you got started. I know you're from San Diego as well, so maybe kind of walk us through how you got introduced to football as a young kid, and kind of like what your journey looked like.
Yeah, so I started playing when I was 6 years old. I really just got introduced to it because, like my parents wanted to just put me in some type of sports. I always played basketball, but we wanted to try something different. So we tried football, and once I got on the field, everything was just so natural. It was just so natural when I ran, when I caught the ball, and just scoring. It came easy. So that's just something that I continued to do growing up. I played football all the way up till man, so like right now, but I mean, when I had started, I played flag first, and then I went to Mighty Mike, put on the pads and all that stuff like that. And I just knew it was always something that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And it continued to get better and better. And I was just like, oh, one day I want to go to the NFL. Oh, this was a dream. I knew that I would have to work hard at it. And growing up, I used to watch Reggie Bush. I played running back, my whole life up until my freshman year of high school. So, I watched Reggie Bush and I used to see everything that he did. And I wanted to emulate, those moves and stuff, especially being from San Diego and, growing up and just watching everything that he did. It's like, why not? I would do the same thing that he did, but even try to be better. You know what I mean? So, I just knew it took a lot of hard work and I continued to put in that work all the way up through high school, college. I transferred a couple times in college. So, I wasn't just at one spot throughout my journey in college. I feel like that really helped me out. It helped me learn the logistics of the game and how everything goes. You know what I mean? And it got me to the position that I'm in now, to playing professional ball. And man, it's been a journey, but I've loved every part of it.
So, wait, did you only do football growing up, or did you do basketball also and multi sports? And then once you got to high school, you kind of said, okay, only football now.
Yeah, so I did basketball, football, I did baseball as well, but in high school, I did all three in high school. I did all three in high school, but it did come to a point to where I did just focus on football my senior year because I knew, at the end of the day, this is something that I want to do in college. I could only see myself doing this in college. So, I focused on that and really just everything just took off from there. I went to college my first year. I got All American for a kick returner, was just average in yards and stuff like that. Just being a freshman, being on the field and actually, putting in the work to, gain the trust and also like, everything from my teammates and my coaches and everything like that. It helped me out a lot and it gave me that type of I would say it gave me that type of I'm trying to find a word for it. It gave me that type of like hype and everything behind my name to where when I did touch the field, everybody was like, "Oh man, like let's see what he does." So that made me excited. It made me very excited too when I did transfer and I went to Dixie State at first and then I transferred to Kent State. So I came to Kent State in 2019 and I stayed here all the way through 2021. And when I was out here, it was a bit of a change. Obviously, being a West Coast kid coming to Ohio was a bit different, but it helped me out a lot. The people that I met, the coaches that I met, everything that I went through here, as far as like a strength and conditioning base, it helped my body out a lot. To where I did transfer to Southern Utah my last years, 2022 to 2023. I played 2 seasons there, and everything just exploded from there. I hit the scene. A lot of people knew who I was, and I had the opportunity to get a pro day, and I had the opportunity to sign with a team. And the journey ever since has been, it's been a little bit up and down, but one thing about it, I've never gave up, haven't given up on it, and I've continued to push forward, and I'm here right now with the Browns. So
So You said you played 3 sports up to high school, right?
Yes.
Baseball, ball, and stuff. And because Eric and I had several conversations, it seems like it's a common theme, and everybody's saying the same thing. They benefited from, like, playing different sports, growing up before they actually make the final decision, "Hey, now I'm really gonna focus." What was your point where you said, "Hey, instead of playing" what position did you play in basketball?
Well, basketball is a point guard and a shooting guard. So yeah, just
Okay.
carrying the ball up,
Yep.
dishing it off to people.
Would you agree, though, in terms of, like, your experience on the baseball field as well as the, basketball court has helped in terms of, like, kind of shaping what you do as a receiver today? Is there stuff that you kind of took from these different sports?
It is a patience. I took patience from baseball. That's one thing I took patience from baseball because man, baseball is a game of like failure. You fail so many times, but it's just like you have to be patient because you have to be patient in your work. When you're working and you're doing all the stuff, it might not show immediately, but in due time it's gonna show. And that's something that I took from baseball, man, because it was tough playing baseball. I didn't play until high school. So when I came into high school, everybody they already played little league and they knew what to do and they knew how to catch the ball, they knew how to hit and all that stuff like that. So it took me a little more time, but once I did learn how to really do those things, I loved it. And I always look back on baseball because, I'm a returner as well. So I played
Yep.
center field, I played right field. It helped me actually learn how to track the ball a lot better, hand-eye coordination, get into the spot, those type of things like that. So I'm forever grateful for because it actually did help me become a better football player.
I think you make a great point there. Center fielder, like, kind of like as a return guy, so in terms of tracking the ball, etcetera, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, here's another question. I'm curious, what's your thought on travel ball is so big, obviously, for baseball, soccer, basketball, obviously not football. So, do you think it's more important for a kid to do a travel team and not do any other sports? Or do you like the idea of do multiple sports and then learn it as you go because it's more valuable to train the different muscles as opposed to just doing one specific, position over and over again.
Yeah, I'm definitely an advocate for playing multiple sports. I mean, not even just because I've done it and I've seen what it's done for me, but just like you said, I mean, kids coming up these days, they need to learn a lot of different things. They need to learn what type of muscles they need to have, what to work on. As far as like playing baseball, basketball, and football, you're doing different things. You're working different muscles. So why not try to do that? And like you said, learn along the way, learn along the way. Once you get a little older, you're gonna know what you wanna do, and you're gonna be able to make that choice to where it's like, "Okay, I wanna focus mainly on football, or I wanna focus mainly on baseball," etcetera. You know what I mean? And then you can go ahead and make that choice, but, like, coming up as a kid, I feel like all kids should try to play multiple sports. And you can even do track, like, I did track as well when I was younger. I didn't do it in high school, but I did it when I was younger, and, I mean, it carried on to, once I got into high school, even till today, you know what I mean? It's like just knowing the mechanics, the different things that you do, the different stretches, the different exercises, workouts. That's stuff that can help you along the way in whatever sport that you play. So,
No, I agree 100%. I do not and what it has become nowadays. I think it's ruining a lot of kids, causing burnout. Obviously, a ton of overuse injuries and premature surgeries and all that stuff. So, the way you did it, hands down, I agree. And, great job for having the discipline and understanding to go that route.
yeah, so thank you.
Yeah.
You mentioned, strength and conditioning a little bit and the change in terms of, like, being from the West Coast going to Ohio as well, right? And as a follow-up question, I kinda wanna know your ex or, hear about your experience in terms of transferring a couple of times, especially if you look at what's going on now with the transfer portal, etcetera. But let's start the nutritioning, and then again, just from a health perspective, what was the difference in terms of, like, making that move from Southern California and then going to Ohio?
Yes, man, it was a big transition. So basically, when I came from high school, I'm young. I don't know anything about nutrition or anything like that. I'm just, going into school ready to play football and look at the education. Honestly, like that's the biggest thing. Play football, get an education. I went to not Southern Utah first. I went to Dixie State first, and that was great. It was great. Got to be on a college campus, got to experience a lot of different things, got to meet new people. You know what I mean, and just see how college really was, and see what football really was on the next level. And I left from there, and I went to Kent State, and it was a big transition as far as nutrition, as far as everything that they had us do. It was a lot different, and I was just like, Man, this is a lot different from where I came from, but it's better though, because I was at a D2. I went to a D1 FBS, and that's like top tier. So, I was seeing a lot of different things, and I was a part of a lot of different things. And, it helped shape me to who I am today, to how to take care of my body, my protein intake, and everything that I need to continue to go. So,
Let's Can we walk through that real quick? Because obviously the health aspect of things, and Eric knows this, is extremely important, but just from a nutritional perspective, and again, from a strength and conditioning, what was the biggest difference? Is it terms of like just the regimen of working out, the what you do for workouts specific to your position that you play, and then also the nutrition plan and how that fits into training and stuff?
yeah, so it definitely starts from the workload. Like your workouts, a lot different, man. Like it was a lot
Yeah.
different. It's more you're really getting it in. You're really getting in a lot more heavyweight. You're doing a lot more
Yep.
reps of it. Like we used to have something called AMAP. So we do as many as possible, and we'll
Yep.
throw weight on. We'll just keep loading on, loading on. At the time, I didn't really understand it because I'm like, I'm lifting so much weight and it's so heavy. I can lift it, but I've always thought that, if you just put on whatever, and just do a lot of reps of that, it'll be all right. It doesn't always have to be heavy. But one thing I learned with that is you lift so much weight that's really heavy and you do as many as possible. Once you do take off that weight and you start doing things, you can hit a lot of more reps. You can hit a lot more reps in doing that. And that helped out a lot to being on the field. It transitioned to on the field running my routes, being able to get out of my breaks, in and out my breaks, break tackles, my contact balance, everything, it helped out like that. And as far as nutrition, putting the right type of stuff in my body, as far as making sure I had the right electrolytes,
Yep.
protein, vitamins, all the types of nutrients. It helped me out a lot. It helped me really see that, football is not just a game. You know what I mean? It's you got to take care of it because it's a business. It's your job. You know what I mean? It's your job. And if you're not at your tip top shape, you're gonna get left behind. Even in college, you're gonna get left behind. So you have
Yeah.
to come on and you gotta get right with it right now and learn how to do these things like the kids in college. So when you do go to play professionally, if you do play professionally, you already know how to approach it. And you don't have to worry about trying to, hey, how do I do this? You already know what to do. So
All right, I got a question about you supplement wise. So I do a lot of work with pro baseball players and some do work with a number of NFL guys, but what's your take on NSF sport certified and not? Is the training room super strict and restricting it? And just so people know, all the pro organizations, there's a label called NSF Sport that supplement companies could get. My take is they're just buying a label to put on there. It's a different testing, but it also does not mean it's the best product out there. It's very expensive to do, and a lot of companies can't afford to do it. Some of the smaller mom and pops, but they have quality good stuff. I'm just curious, what's your take on that?
yeah, so I really got introduced to, start taking NSF type of products and vitamins and all that stuff like that once I got into the league professionally NFL. Yeah, so basically when I was taking the NSF products, it helped me out a lot. And when I was in college, I did take a couple of different supplements. Like some people took pre-workout, type of things like that. But once I got into the NFL and I started taking these supplements like vitamin D that they were giving me, it helped me out a lot. And I started to see, a difference in my body. I started to be able to retain weight. I started to be able to, feel, lively, feel really, really good and without taking any type of pre-workout or drinking any coffee or anything like that. I was just alive and just up. You know what I mean? And I was just like, dang, that's crazy that it could really do this for me. And just over time, doing the workouts, running out on the field, you run out on the field during camp and stuff, you don't sweat so much. You just sweat, you probably lose 5 to 8 pounds. Like you don't know, you're gonna lose a lot of weight. But when I was taking those vitamins, I wasn't losing that much weight. I would sweat a lot, but I would not lose that much weight. I would still be able to retain my weight, and I felt the difference in my body to where every day I was able to push a lot more. I was able to push a lot more and continue to go harder, longer. And that's one thing that I'm like, I was very happy with taking the NSF products for sure.
All right. So my job is to come and take care of a guy like you during the season who's not getting what they need through the training room, plus football, you got so many guys. And also, if you say something, then they may sit you and you don't want to lose your spot. So, what do you do on your own from a recovery standpoint? How do you go above and beyond the typical stuff to be able to stay healthy and last longer?
Yeah, so me myself, I'm a firm believer in recovery. Like you have to always get that. It doesn't matter if you're tired, it doesn't matter if it's been a long day, it doesn't matter if it was a short day, and you didn't do anything. I'm always big on that because at the end of the day, this is a job. If you're not at your best, you're gonna get left behind. Somebody else is gonna come and take your spot. So me myself, I love to go into the sauna. I do the sauna. I go in there about, 10 minutes, nothing too crazy. In there for about 10
Wait,
minutes.
are you doing a red light, a steam? What kind of sauna do you prefer?
Oh, I prefer, just dry sauna with the rocks. They just sit there and then, yeah, just dry sauna. I do the steam room from time to time, but I've been in just the sauna, not red light, but I've just been in the sauna just, as of recently. I've been doing about 10 minutes a day. I do that, get out, rehydrate, get my body back, dry a little bit. Then I'll go and hit the cold tub. So I sit in a cold tub I usually contrast, but as of recently, since we've been doing a lot more, I'll do 10 minutes in the cold tub, 10 to 12 minutes, and then I go to the hot tub to finish off, and I do probably like 8 to 10 minutes in there. And, I do a little bit of stretching in there and stuff like that. And
Just so you know, there is research. If you do the sauna for 15 minutes after a workout, it increases the benefits of that workout a ton. Well, think about it. You're going to help flush out some of the last lactic acid. You're able to stretch in there, which is going to help you recovery and lay the muscles the way they should. It's gonna just create more of the growth hormone release naturally and all that stuff to give you that advantage. So that's a great thing to do. I tell all my players to do it. So
You said
that's a
15
good,
minutes?
yeah.
So is that what about from a muscle growth perspective? Is that helpful for that as well?
Yeah, it helps the muscles just kind of because otherwise, if you're not doing that, so our muscles lay parallel the fibers. But when we do explosive routes or lifting or this or that, we cause micro tears, small little tears, nothing major, but it can't heal parallel. So it goes perpendicular and you do it again and again. And then you start getting scar tissue or adhesions that form. So it's like, think of a spider web in your muscle, and as you're trying to put your arm straight, it's pulling and ripping again. So by doing the sauna after, it's going to relax the muscles, give you that ability to stretch it out. Now you're going to have more flexibility, more mobility, less scar tissue. So if you're going to reach for a ball and you're tight, it's going to restrict you and you're going to miss the ball. By
yep,
doing something as basic as going in the sauna and it helps loosen you up after and you stretch, now you have the pliability and movement to grab the ball and do those crazy jumps and maneuvers that you guys do, you know?
right. See, and that's something that I've been working on too, working towards because I wasn't really a sauna guy until, I came out here. I started to really get in the sauna and start to really embrace it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm do 10, do 10, do 10, and work my way up to doing 15 because I have teammates that do about 15 to 20 minutes, and they're like, yeah, they come out, oh yeah, man, I feel better. And I'm like, okay, like I see you, they're like, I see you getting up there though, you doing it longer and longer and longer. And they're like, yeah, it's gonna continue to benefit you. So that's something that I'm definitely getting some for sure.
At your level, in terms of like, at that elite level, like it's just the level of importance for this kind of stuff, right? I mean, the vast
Mhm.
majority of people just see you on the football, field again,
Yeah.
running, scoring touchdowns and all this stuff. And it's just like, that's just the end result of all the work that goes in throughout the week. And I think it's, I mean, I'm always
Yeah,
amazed in terms of like, the work stuff that all goes in with athletes like yourself.
Yeah,
you
that's right.
think about it. I mean, it is so hard on the body. And you guys have access to a ton of stuff. I mean, the compression boots, are you familiar with PEMF?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
So PEMF is pulsed electromagnetic field.
Okay.
So I could heal a fracture in a third of the time and get rid of pain and inflammation in half the time. When Terrell Owens broke his foot and then came back and that's because of that. Shaq used to have a guy travel specifically with that. But it's like the demand you guys put on your body, you implement all this stuff from BFR to dry needling to a number of stuff. It makes a big difference.
It's not the same like electroshock therapy, right? It's not quite the same.
No, like, look, Ronnie, you're coming out here next week. I'll do a lobotomy on you.
Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, 150s. Last question on the training side of things, in terms of, like, any particular drills that you prefer, like, that are, like, any favorite drills, any favorite training methods, on the football field?
Yeah, I love to work with cones. Like, I love to do cones and footwork stuff to make sure that my feet are right. Being a wide receiver, not even just being a wide receiver, I would say being an athlete
Yeah.
in general, you always have to make sure that your feet are right. Whether you play basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, you have to make sure that your feet are right. So me playing football and being a wide receiver and a return specialist, I have to be quick on my feet and I have to make sure that everything is right and correct in the right spot. So I'm not falling or I'm not slipping. So I love to work with cones. I love to do drills such as like, you know, um, 4 cone drill to where you're breaking down at every cone, you're making a 90-degree turn, also 45-degree turns as well, breaks. I love to do things like that because ultimately it's gonna go into the game. They're game-like situations that you're gonna see from time to time. So I like to work on things like that.
Different is your training now from college. I mean, obviously, high school, it's totally different. I get that. But what how difficult was it for you to adapt to it in the NFL versus college?
It was easy. Not gonna lie to you, it was very easy because in college you lifting a lot of stuff. You lifting freaking 405 pounds after a game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're in college, we're getting after it. But here in the NFL, it's very intentional. Everything's intentional. Every drill, every workout has a purpose and it's meaningful. So that's something that, once I got in and, really started to do it and get acclimated with it, I loved it because at the end of the day, yeah, you're going to be a little sore, but nowhere near as sore as I was in college. Like, it's just the way that we do things, it makes sense. Not saying the things in college didn't make sense because they did, but here it's just more intentional on everything that you're gonna go through. So your body's it feels good after your workout. It's not gonna feel like groggy and things like that. And we have state of the art things that make sure that your body is good for the next day. So
Yeah.
you just gotta take advantage of it and use them.
Yeah. So, what was your kind of big aha moment getting into the NFL?
Man, I would say that at my pro day, my pro day, I had ran a 4.35 at my pro day. I ran a 1.3 18 yard split though. And that's one of the things that got me an opportunity for the NFL. You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, that right there was one of those moments that's like, oh, that's why I'm in the NFL right there. Like, not just because of that, obviously film and stuff as well, but like that one right there, I laughed at. I chuckled because I'm like, I'm a smaller type of guy, and if I wasn't as fast, I don't know. You know what I mean? So that's like the speed plays a big part. So I had to laugh at that one. But once I got here, it was just like, yeah, this is a place where I belong. Obviously, you just have to work every day. You can't take a day off. You got to continue to keep your foot on the gas because as soon as you take it off, somebody else coming in. You know what I mean? And there's somebody else and that's just how it is. That's what it is, and that's what it is. So that's what continues to make you work harder and harder every day. So, you can continue to put food on your family's, table and make sure that they can survive and you can survive.
So we've talked to agents, we spoke to the GM of a team and stuff. Skill obviously is important, but leadership seems to be a big one. So how do you take a leadership role, positive influence in the locker room so guys are coming to you for advice or this or that or offering it to others? How much of that do you fall on?
A lot, a lot. I've always been the type of person that wants to bring people along and be a leader and be an example. You know what I mean? In a good way. It's been like that ever since I was a kid. And I feel like that's something that I've always embraced because, I've always had the type of skill set that, people are going to see and it's going to set me apart from a lot of people because it's just like, oh, wow, like we're looking at him, what he's doing and stuff like that. So there's going to be eyes on me. So I've always felt the need to, be a good person, be a great teammate, bring people along. And, if somebody's messing up, I'm not gonna yell at them. I'm just, hey, come on, let's go. Like you got this. Don't give up. You know what I mean? Like we want it done this way, not that way. And at the end of the day, that's just me being a teammate that wants nothing but the best for the team and for, my teammate. So that's just something that I've always done. Being a leader, especially at the next level as well, because everybody's not gonna be a starter. Everybody's not gonna be in every single play. But what are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna sit and pout or are you gonna be a great teammate? And when your teammate is in and he did a good play, hey man, good job. Or the offense went out there, they threw an interception or something. Are you gonna be, oh, he threw it? No, you're gonna be, hey man, it's all right. We got him next play. We all right. You gotta be that person that continues to uplift your team and your teammates. And a lot of people are gonna see that from the top all the way to the bottom. They're gonna see that. And that's just somebody that you want to be. Because at the end of the day, nobody likes an asshole. I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta be an asshole sometimes when you're on the field, but you don't have to be an asshole to your teammates.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about trash talk a little later. But no, I think so. It seems like to you, it comes, Eric, you don't know that. But it seems like to you, it comes natural. I mean, again, it's refreshing to hear because you're playing a team sport, right? You're going to benefit from teammates doing well, even if they're at the same position as you are, right? And I think, organizations, if you just, we went through the draft stuff and people that we talked to, they look at stuff like that. They ask the question, and it seems like from you, it seems like very authentic. It's like, yeah, let's all do well. And if I'm part of that group that does well, I think it helps. That's from a perspective of talking to be, in the locker room or being around leaders and all that stuff. Anybody in particular that sticks out? I'm talking high school, college, in the NFL, CFL. Anybody or a couple of guys that I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are like,
Yeah, man. Actually, when I was in um Man, when I was in the CFL, because that's where I really got my real professional. I got to be in a whole season and I got to be in that locker
yeah,
room all year. Somebody that really stood out to me was our quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell. This guy approached every single day the same way. And when I say that professionally, he approached it professionally every single day. It didn't matter what type of weather it was. It didn't matter how hot it was or if it was dark or if it was light. It didn't matter to him. He approached it every single day the same way. And I'm saying that, and this is a guy that's been in, he's been playing professionally for way longer than, than a lot of people could really ever think about playing. You know what I mean? So it's just like seeing him and seeing how he approached everything, it just made me like, okay, this is somebody right here that you need to be looking at everything that he does and writing down notes of what he does because he's not just here for no reason. He's been in the league this long because of that, because of the way that he approaches the game and the way that he approaches practice and the way that he approaches meetings. You have to approach every single thing with intent. And I've seen him do that every single day through camp. Man, through the whole season, all the way till when we got the playoffs. Everything that he did was with intent. And he didn't leave anything else out on the field, in the meeting rooms or anything. He made sure that he got the most out of everything. And that's somebody that I very much looked up to as a leader out there, man.
So, what did you take from that, and how does that come into your daily routine now?
Oh yeah, just being consistent. Seeing him doing the same thing over and over again. I just believe in consistency. I've always been a consistent person, but seeing somebody else do it and to the status of how they did it, it just made me want to go harder. And that's the thing. Being back in the NFL, it gave me that type of inspiration to be very consistent. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. Just be very, it could be the littlest thing to, hey, how you doing to the lunch lady? How you doing? Just being consistent every day coming in saying hey to the same people, they see that type of stuff. And it also helps you. So when you get on the field, it's like, I did the littlest thing. I came in here and I said hey to the same person. Now I can go on the field and do the same thing. It's a bigger thing, but I can hold myself accountable and go and do that because I did this. And that's not even anything that somebody would think about doing every single day. You can walk in every day and just, I'm gonna get my food and I'm just gonna go about my business. But I like to take the time out of my day. Hey, how you doing? How nice to see you again. And and then go ahead and do what I have to do. So that's just something I don't even think about it. I just do it every single day. You know what I mean? And it makes me better when I get on the field because I can handle the real stuff. So
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I treated the Dodgers 5 years, and every day Dave Roberts would come in. He would walk up to every staff member. He'd come up, "Hey Doc, how you doing today? How's the family?" And just
Mm.
it changes it. And then I was with other managers who never said anything. And it was like, okay, it's a totally different leadership style here. And I mean, Dave made it comfortable. Everyone, it was a good environment in the locker room to be around. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Dave was out at second, first and foremost.
Hey, we got a couple rings.
So do we. So do we.
And I'll go get my ring and flash that to you.
Isaiah, do you remember that play? You're way too young for this. 04.
I don't remember. I've just seen plastic cups.
Well, the Yankees were up back in '04 in the series 3-0, and then all of a sudden, this guy was stealing second. I think it was stealing, but I think it was out. The guy that got to second, and then basically they beat us 4-3 in the series was Dave Roberts. And being in San Diego, obviously was a Padre too. Then I was sitting in right field, and that's where he was for like another few years. So but we go back and forth. Eric knows from a baseball perspective, which is really the top team.
Yeah.
That said, we talked all the nice stuff now. When do you have to be an asshole? Like, when is it when you're like, turn it on? It's like, hey, no. And because you're in a very competitive sport,
Oh,
profession, so
very.
to speak. So
Yeah.
when does that
So
start?
as soon as you touch the field, you got to become an asshole, and in a way of like between those lines when you're in a play, you know what I mean? Not like, oh, you're just walking around like, oh, fuck it, whatever. No, not anything like that. It's like when you're in a play, especially, it's funny because I'm in college, we used to play against a lot of teams, and, I was a top receiver. They used to always come on, like, yeah, we're going to do this to you, dude. I'm like, all right, man, you just brought it out of me now. Like, just trying to play football, just trying to have fun, trying to get the win. Obviously, I'm competitive, but as soon as I hear somebody start talking crazy to me, I'm like, all right, cool, watch this. And me being an asshole is just making you look stupid, making you look dumb, making you look so dumb the whole time. It's just like, you can't guard me. I cut a ball on you. Oh, you're gonna hear me for the rest of the game now.
Oh, so you're gonna verbally like letting
Oh,
him know how you own.
as soon as I hear somebody say something to me, because me, I don't like to do all the talking. I just like to play. But as soon as somebody comes and they start talking to me, I'm like, what did I do? I'm gonna try to play the game. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So you're one of the people that like to jog back and forth. I got you. All right,
Well,
cool.
what's your best in your face story or trash talking story?
I say my best one was in high school. Literally, I always think about this one. So we were playing in our state championship game. We were doing it was a back and forth game. It was a close game. We played against a team from Northern California up there. It was a back and forth game, and they're chirping a little bit, and saying, "Oh yeah, you're not good," because my quarterback threw when it got batted down. Like, the guy was guarding me, it got batted down. I'm like, "Oh man, that's a good play," whatever. And then he started chirping like, "Oh man, yeah, you suck. You're not gonna do anything." I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that's what we're gonna do. So we ran another play. My quarterback threw it up on the same guy. I jump over him. I catch the ball. He falls on the ground. I run it in like 50 some yards out. I run it in, touchdown. And after that, I'm just like, oh, yeah, he's going to hear me all game. And we had the same name. His name was Isaiah as well. So it's like, oh, you got the same name as me too? I'm like, oh, no, man. So I just like every single time we run a play, my quarterback was like, run this, run a 16-yard dig. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm about to run a dig. Like, I'm talking to him like I'm about to run a dig. So you have to guard it. I'm telling you what I have. And I'm running it on him. I'm catching it, and I'm laughing at him like, "Ha, you can't guard me." I'm just like talking.
You're like Bobby Boucher in The Water Boy when he totally changes and goes
Yeah,
after it.
Which
I'm
is funny.
telling you.
That was quick because you're like going right back to that story from high school.
Yeah, yeah. That I always think about that. Like, it lives rent free in my head. It's so funny because it's just like that was probably not even the first time that I really like was an asshole because somebody brought it out of me, but I was in my element, and I still was making plays, and I felt good, and at the same time I was having fun with it. But it's just like I was gonna let them hear it. You know what I mean? Because you can't just talk to me and think like we're just gonna be, oh yeah, he's not gonna say. I mean, sometimes you don't need to say anything, but I felt at that point in time it was a lot to be said, especially with the game of that state championship. It was that type of game. So.
Go ahead, Eric.
No, so I guess a question we've talked to a lot of guys about finances and how you're building a brand for yourself. You're creating an image and doing all that. What direction are you going with that? What do you get involved with and backed up behind to promote yourself?
Yeah, so I went to college and I became my major was communication, so I got my bachelor's degree in communications. So I've always been somebody that has, wanted to help other people out as far as like motivation and stuff like that. So what I do to promote myself and to, eventually, football doesn't last forever. So, eventually once I am done, I would love to become a motivational speaker because there's a lot of things that, I can talk about as far as the stories from my beginning to how I started everything to, where I was to where I'm going to be. You know what I mean? And that's like something that I continue to do. I'm even on Instagram, Facebook. It doesn't matter what it is, X, Twitter, or just giving out those type of words of encouragement to people, making videos of, you guys keep going, everything's gonna be all right. Just giving that type of sense of encouragement. That's somebody that I've always been, and I feel like that's my brand. That's my brand and pushing positivity. I've always been somebody that wants to push positivity and push it and push it and push it because it's just like it's a lot of negativity that's already out here, especially playing football. You see it every day. You see it every single day. You can make a bad play, then your DMs are gonna be flooded. Your name might be trending and everything like that. And it's a lot of different things that, that people go through. You know what I mean? And I just want to be that type of voice to let people know, hey, this gonna happen. But at the same time, if you continue to push forward, you can reach an even better level. You know what I mean? And that's something that I know at the end of the day, that's gonna help me out a lot. I will be able to talk to a lot of people. I'll be able to get, different type of gigs to where I can come out and, do things like that to make a brand of it. That's something that I'm doing right now. And I do pray that it can continue to go and I can continue to have this type of platform that will help me eventually, reach that type of goal right there.
So
How do you shut out the noise though? Because
Yeah.
yeah, you do a bad play and people are calling for your it's like
Mm.
and then the next week you do a play and they're praising you and it's like constant up down. What do you do to shut it off and just say it's noise? I don't take offense to it. It's not personal, whatever.
Yeah, just knowing that, like just like you said, it's just noise. It's not nothing personal. You know what I mean? Like the fans want to see you win. The fans are going to be mad if something happens. Of course, who wouldn't be? You know what I mean? I may be mad. I might be right there with you. Like, damn, why did I drop that ball? I didn't want to drop that damn ball. Like, you know what I mean? So I understand that. But at the same time, how I shut it off, I just once I leave the field and I go ahead and watch my film and I do what I have to do. I'm a married man, so I have a wife. I sit with her and I just decompress with her and just talk about anything else other than football. And sometimes she loves to talk football. She's like, nah, like it's all right. Like, shoot, I like this, I like that, I like that. But she knows like if it is something that is, bothering me or something like that, she's gonna be like, okay, let's just, we can watch a movie or something, or we can go out and eat. You know what I mean? Just get your mind off everything. We can go bowl. I love the bowl. It's like we can go bowl. We can do whatever what you want to do to get your mind off of it. And that's something having my wife there for me and her knowing the things that will get to me that makes me upset or makes me sad or whatever the case is, having her there and her, making sure everything's all right, that helps me out a lot. And that helps me block out all of the noise to where I don't even remember that happened. You know what I mean? I'm moving forward and trying to get better. That's it.
Yeah.
that's awesome. So from a business perspective, and just kind of going to your experience in college, with again with NIL, and then also in terms of like, kind of not that you're there, but in terms of planning, what's going to be the life after football going to look like? I know you kind of touched on it in terms of motivational speaker, but from a business aspect, from a financial planning perspective, obviously I work with athletes on that end, but in terms of what do you do? What do you suggest for other athletes to do in terms of planning ahead, right? And again,
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
there's maybe endorsements, marketing dollars, there's the contracts. So what do you see from a college and then in the pros? What's a good tip, so to speak? For
Yeah, so definitely in college, a lot of people that are making NILs now all say invest your money. Literally, like invest your money. I've had a lot of people tell me real estate. Like I'm talking to a lot of my teammates here, and they talked about real estate and talk about as far as like on the Airbnbs, renting out rooms to people and stuff like that. in college, it's a lot different because a lot of people are younger. But now with the NIL, they're starting to get a lot more information on the things that they can do to help their money grow very exponentially. So that's something that's helping them out a lot. But once you do get into like the NFL professionally and all that stuff, I do feel like you should start to, embrace the money that you have, embrace the money that you have, and make investments and do things that's going to make your money grow over time. And I've always been one, like, every time I talk to my wife, I'm like, yeah, once we really get what we're gonna get and stuff like that and get situated, we need to buy property. We need to buy property and we need to do things like that. So at the end of the day, we'll have something that we could always bank on. If it's renting rooms to people, during the off season, you can rent the rooms to people, do things like that. And at the same time, you're still helping people. I'm always somebody that wants to help. You know what I mean? And if I can help somebody and still get something from it, that's cool. I'm not asking, I'm not looking for anything from it, but I want my money to be something that can continue to grow to help my family out to when I am done playing football. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, you're bringing up a good point. That's from a perspective. I always say this, right? I can do what I do till I'm like 65 plus years old, right? You have a very, as an athlete, you have a very, and it's hard to understand that because you're in the midst of like competing at the highest level, right? You think that's going to last forever. Feels great, right? Again,
Yeah.
preparing, training, and all that stuff, playing the game.
Mhm.
But the fact of the matter is, you have a very, very compressed timeline as an
Yeah.
athlete. And in your sport, maybe even more so. Again, if you want to switch to golf, like barely still playing, but and his nutritional regimen is quite different from what you were describing. But if you don't do that route, like it's again, you have a very compressed timeline,
Mhm.
only a few years to really make the buck or set yourself up for the next phase in your career. And that might arrive at the age of 33, 35, right? Or even earlier than that. So what are you going to do then? I think it's a very important point for people to at least have the conversation if that's within their family, their trusted advisors, whatever that is. But I think planning ahead is important there. So
Oh yeah, you got to plan ahead. And even when you're doing this right now, this is the best time because this is where you're gonna be the highest of the highest. You know what I mean? So why not try to build those type of connections? Because being professional and stuff like that, I feel like it's all about having those type of connect or building those type of connections that you can have once you're done playing. Because a lot of people don't understand that, like you said, you're not gonna be playing forever. You can't play forever. Especially with like this sport, you can't play forever. So you want to try to build as many connections as you can to when you are done playing, you can be like, hey, I remember I did build a connection with this guy right here, and I have a business
yeah.
proposition that I wanted to run past them, run by them, and see if how we could work something out. Get something together. So I feel like that's the main thing that a lot of people should do, especially coming out of college. Work on building those connections with people because you never know who can help you out once once you're done playing. So
That's the biggest thing you could do. I agree because that's how I got into the Dodgers and put on some Britney Spears tour and Taylor Swift and stuff just by connections. But my question for you, how many people came out of the woodwork and just want from you? And it's like, you got to be careful of that also, because there are a lot of people who are genuine that you want in your inner circle. And then it's recognizing, okay, this guy's a moocher and is just trying to wants me to give him money and stuff. So you got to balance that out also.
you do have to balance that out, and that's a great point that you made right there. Because a lot of people, once they get into the professional realm, they're not gonna think anything of that. They're just like, I made it, this is cool. You see all these people, because like me myself, I speak from personal experience. I seen this as soon as I signed with Atlanta coming out of college in 2024.
Yeah.
A lot of people continue to contact me and hit me up that I have not heard from in years. Like when I was struggling and I was not playing out in Kent and I had to transfer to try to get a better opportunity, it wasn't too many people that were contacting me about things like, oh, do you need any help? Do you want to do? As soon as I sign with a team, they're like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna contact this guy. And it's like some people ask for money, some people ask for other things. You know what I mean? And it was just like a lot of different things that was happening. It just wasn't cool. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't really know how to grasp with that. I don't want to be a part of that. So I tried to push it to the side and not really think too much about that. But it's always there. And when I was in Atlanta, we actually had it was called like rookie development. So we'll sit there with the people, they'll help us out, and I remember this quote, it'll forever stay with me. So when you're at zero, who's gonna be your hero? So basically that was telling us like, yeah, you're gonna have money, you're gonna have this, you're gonna have that. Don't give all your money away to whether it's your family, your friends. Don't do that because at the end of the day, once you're struggling, because it happens, the statistics show it happens. You know what I mean? Who's gonna be your hero when you're at zero? And once he said that, it stuck with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the realest I've ever heard, and that's coming into the NFL. I never heard that before. I never had to deal with that until that point. So you made a great point on that. A lot of people have to be aware of that. It's very stressful. It is.
Yeah, it's not just from a financial perspective, it's on a, mental, psychological perspective as well, because again, I'm not saying in your case, but it might be family members, it might be friends. So you came out of college, you were undrafted, and you got signed by the Falcons 2024, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Are you saying the moment you sign into stuff and the news breaks, all of a sudden your phone is going off the hook, who you haven't heard from in years?
Was it? It was bring. Just, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like looking at it on my phone. I'm like, okay, cool. I haven't talked to this person since we were in high school. You know what I mean? I'm a totally different person from high school. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like you might be still on the same things that you're on, and that's cool. But at the same time, I haven't talked to you since high school, so we don't know each other. We have to reintroduce each other. You know what I'm saying? So it was just going through that stuff and also signing with the Browns. It was the same thing. You know what I mean? It's the
Oh, yeah,
same
just in the
thing.
beginning of this year, right? You just signed with them in January, right?
With them in January, it was the same thing from ringing, blowing up, and it's just like these are people that I haven't heard from since I signed with Atlanta. When I got cut from Atlanta and I signed with the Chargers, so it
Did
was
they
just
call
like,
you when you're in Canada?
oh, call me when I was in Canada. I had those select few people that who they are. You know what I mean? That's gonna support you, and that's always there. Gonna like your stuff. They're gonna continue to reach out. Of course, those people they contacted me when I was in Canada, all that stuff like that. But it was a lot of people that didn't contact me in Canada. They contacted me once I signed with the Browns, and I was just like, oh, I wasn't new to it though. I knew that it was gonna happen, so I wasn't thrown off. I just approached it like, oh, all right, whatever.
But
This
at that point, you're used to it, right? So
I'm used to it. This is just what happens.
or all over again. All right. But I know before we go into kind of a walk off 10, I still want to get back to your experience on a football field in terms of like some funny stories in terms of like, I don't know, the first time you really got hit, the funniest guy in the locker room, or like somebody that's like, dude, that guy's crazy. Stay away.
Oh man. So the first
Experiences
time,
with fans, etc.
yeah, so the first time, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing talking about, but it's funny. So the first time I was playing Mighty Might, I got the pads on. Literally first day putting on pads. Everything's going good. I'm running fast. I'm scoring every time I touch the ball in practice and like all types of stuff. I'm having a blast, having a good day. I run the ball. I think it was like a stretch play. I cut up one of my teammates. I didn't see him. He came out of nowhere, so it's kind of like a blindside hit, but those were allowed back then. So he hit me so hard. I've never gotten hit before. And I fell to the ground and I'm like I was dead. I'm like, and they come over there and I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I just remember one of the team moms, like she was just standing over. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm just a kid. Like I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm just like helmets on still. And I'm just like, I don't want none of this on anymore.
You're gonna
That time, I did not go back to. I promise you, I literally had quit football. I quit football for like 3 days because I was so scared of getting hit. I didn't know that's what it felt like. I'm like, oh, I'm fast. As long as they don't touch me, I'm all right. Man, as soon as I felt that contact, I was like, I don't know, man. I think I might have to go back to basketball. That was really one of those times. It's so funny because now I get hit hard sometimes. I'll pop right back up, or I'll deliver the hit to somebody. Contact is anything. I break a lot of tackles too now, so it's like thinking about that from back then. It's just funny how I am now.
Are you talking mostly from a return game perspective, or even like blocking as a receiver?
We've been blocking as a receiver because I love doing that. I love getting dirty and getting in there and just really, moving around and just trying to do my part to make the play open up a lot. Just being that type of receiver.
I mean, the teammates must appreciate that, right? I mean, not every receiver. I'm not stereotyping anything. Receivers don't always seem to be, the most.
They're not kickers. Come on.
Oh, but I'm talking about the receivers. They
Behind
get a
this,
little,
though.
I don't
That's
know
what's
how many times Odell Beckham Jr. wanted to block somebody.
Look, that's
That's
the
it. Is that
stigma
because I'm a
behind
Jets fan and you play for the Giants? Go ahead. So,
that's the stigma behind this. A lot of people be like, receivers don't want to block. Because we do want to catch the ball. We do. But we know when we need to do our job. And me, myself, I love to get in. I've always been like that since I was in high school. I used to always love getting there block because I played running back as well when I was younger. So I had to, be the protector for the quarterback. So it was like
right.
I had to block. You know what I mean? So that's something that I didn't
Isaiah
find.
goes, "Excuse me, I like to block." What do you see in terms of, like, the relationship with, like, the big guys up front, like the offensive line and all that stuff? I know probably more from a running back perspective, how important is it to work well with these guys? Or quarterback is very important.
I love the lineman. I love the offensive lineman, and that's probably just the running back in me because I played that my whole life, so I've always showed appreciation towards them because hey, y'all the ones that's opened up the hole for me that you could drive a truck through. You know what I mean? So it's just like I've always had that appreciation for linemen, even to this day. I'm a wide receiver. I'm not in the backfield too much.
Yeah,
I'm a wide receiver back catching punts, kickoff returns, but I still build those relationships with the linemen because those guys are man, there's nothing like those guys. Those guys up front, they get their hands dirty, they get everything dirty to protect the quarterback, the running back, even the receivers when we get screen passes, all that stuff. They're the reason why we catch the passes we catch because if they're not doing what they're doing, the quarterback doesn't have time to spot up and look and find you. So I've always had that relationship with the lineman. I love the lineman deep down to my heart, man. I really do.
awesome.
Nice.
Any, particular stadium from your experience, be that in the CFL or NFL, that you loved the most, hated the most?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the CFL. CFL, one stadium that I really loved was BC because it was inside. It was inside. It was a dome. It was a dome, and it was very nice though. It was very nice all the way around. They had a big screen thing on top. I loved it. Just the atmosphere of it was amazing. It was amazing, and I'll also say, when I was playing with the Chargers, SoFi.
So funny.
SoFi is, and I went and played when I was playing with the Chargers. We actually went and played in Dallas, and I was just like, SoFi is probably like one of a kind, man.
All right,
It's
that's interesting you say that because I'm not going to say his name, but one of the big guys with the Rams that I was taking care of used to say initially he hated SoFi because it was like concrete. He said it was so hard,
The turf, you mean?
the turf,
yeah,
that he did not like it for that reason only, though.
yeah. I mean, when I was there, SoFi, the turf wasn't too bad. Like I didn't, because I do know, how that is and what he means by that. Because the turf does hurt more than grass. Like grass is soft, that good little. You can plan, you can get out, and it's good on your knees, on your joints. You know what I mean? So when we did play at SoFi, it felt good. I didn't feel anything too much, and that's probably because they changed it. That's probably because they changed it. They probably made some, different type of things and changed it because people, made the complaints of how it felt. And that's only right. You know what I mean? I like playing on grass though. I wouldn't lie to you. I love playing on grass. Grass is just you can move in and out and get to where you need to go, man. So yeah.
So you said
Nice.
okay, so we got British Columbia, you said, and then, SoFi, huh?
And then
Alright.
so far, yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
Any particular fan base you're not too fond of?
Any particular fan base? I haven't even this is like my first, not first go, but like second go around at it. And, I'm gonna make it be a long one too. So I haven't really got the enduring fans like that too much.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Yeah,
Who
that
was your team growing up? Chargers?
Funny, no. So I was a LaDainian Tomlinson fan though. I loved him, but I wasn't really a big Chargers fan. I was really. It's funny to say I was a Saints fan. I was a Saints fan because of Reggie Bush. I loved Reggie Bush. So every like team he went to, I kind of gravitated towards that team. Growing up as a kid, I loved the Saints. I loved the Saints watching them. Especially during the Super Bowl, I remember watching that. I was just like, as a kid, just like, oh shoot, like, oh my gosh, like, hey, this is gonna be my team forever. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just something like every time Reggie Bush went to another team, I always gravitated towards that team. Whether it was with the Dolphins or when he Lions, when he went with the Lions, you know what I mean? It's just like I always gravitated towards that team. So I never really had like a team. I kind of just had a player that I loved, I followed for.
Did you ever play at the MetLife Stadium?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm excited to play in there one day though. I know our schedule
Well,
is
isn't it this season? I think you guys' schedule just came out. You
yeah, I believe so. I haven't really thoroughly looked at it too much like that. But I need to check because I am excited to go out there and play though. Because that's always been a dream too to go out there and play at MetLife as well. So go
Oh, yeah,
continue. Why is that?
But
I
how
met
about playing at Lambeau?
Wait, hold on. So you said why? I'm gonna answer your question next, Eric. You said why is that at MetLife?
MetLife, yeah.
Just the atmosphere, man. You see how it looks? It just looks crazy. It looks like you make a big play there. Just going regardless of what team it is, it's gonna be either boos or it's gonna be I just love that. Just
Well, I'm a Jets fan, that's why I'm asking, so I can rest my case, yeah, Eric. Go ahead with your question about what was that, Lambeau Field?
Yeah, the great Lambeau.
But
That's
you
right,
know,
yeah.
what's funny? Because when I was in college, I played at Southern Utah my last 2 years, and it used to
Yep.
snow. And one day it was snowing, and I was back there catching punts, and I was like, "Yeah, this how it's gonna be when I'm in Lambeau catching punts. We gonna be playing." I was like, "I don't know if I'll be playing for them or I'll be playing against them, but this how it's gonna be in Lambeau. White out, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like snow coming down, I'm catching the punt. Let's go." So that's
Yep.
exciting as well. That's something that I always dream towards.
Oh, good stuff. Eric, you wanna take it from here?
Sure. All right. Let me pull this up real quick.
He's gonna do his real personal questions now,
Let's
Isaiah,
go.
so, yeah.
True or false? Route running is more important than raw speed.
That's true.
Okay. True or false? Wide receivers should know every position on offense.
That's true as well.
Okay. One word answer. Biggest motivation.
My wife,
All right.
literally.
You get brownie points.
I sure hope so, but I really need it though. I really do.
Nah, she'll appreciate you. All right. True or false? Trash talk makes you play better.
Nice.
I told you guys.
I'm not normally the one starts it, but when they do, I'm really excelling from that
Yeah, I'm
point
not
on.
the instigator.
Instigator, ain't it?
All right, one word answer. Most important wide receiver trait.
Concentration.
True or false? Film study wins more games than talent alone.
True.
Favorite route.
Go road.
True or false? A drop pass stays with you all game.
False.
Good. It should be false.
False. Yeah.
One word answer. Underrated part of being a receiver.
Timing.
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 Okay.
Definitely timing.
Last one. True or false? Chemistry with the quarterback matters more than stats.
True.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Those are some great questions. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
Eric,
some
you
great
never played
questions.
you never played receiver? Why are you so surprised about timing?
Actually, I did play receiver in high school one season. So
That's
Yeah, you're like Wes
timing.
Welker without hair?
yeah, I did my posts and all that stuff.
So, who's gonna play quarterback for you guys, Isaiah? What do you think? You guys got a couple of guys.
A couple of guys, hey, I really don't know. I just know every last one of them look good, and I
Yep.
love it. Every last one of them, they look good, and it's been exciting to be out there with every last one of them as well, and get those reps and get the chemistry together with them, and it's me. As far as me, like I only seen all of them play on TV, so being out there with them now is so
Yeah.
exciting. It's
Yeah.
so exciting to be out there with
So,
them.
you got what? Watson, Shador, and Gabriel, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Well, all of them have started games now, so from an experience perspective. Again, as a receiver, that's exciting, right?
Definitely, definitely, yeah.
Good. Isaiah, it's been great. I had a great time. It's fun. I appreciate your time, man.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Thank you. Excited to see you grow this season and wish you all the best, man.
Yeah. Best of luck with the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This was fun. I appreciate you guys for having me on. I enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.